Hello, YouTube. There was a video done today. One of the guys I watch a lot thumbed it up and gave it a thumbs up, and it was about the zeitgeist movement. And it was one of the questions that I had on my mind for the longest time, and I still do have the question: is how would I get land? Like, a lot of the people in the Venus Project or the zeitgeist movement, not necessarily the Venus Project, but the zeitgeist movement, had this idea that when the shift comes, that we'll just take the land from you. You know, if you're not going to have it, we'll take the. That's the way the system is now. We take the land from you, and I don't think that a lot of the people in the zeitgeist movement are in that. They think that they're in the mentality of the shift, the awakening. I'll call it the New World Order in this video. They think that they are there. They think that they have all this knowledge and stuff, but their language and the way they're speaking is very much in the old way. If you're not with us, you're against us, and if you're against us, we're going to take it from you. Anyways, his video, hopefully I can find it and I'll post it in this, but his video was that the zeitgeist movement is going to end in violence. And I could not agree with him more on that, because a lot of the people still have that old mentality that, you know, like I said, if you're not with us, you're against us, and we're going to take it from you. And I don't see that. I think that's why I like the whole freeman on the land, the lawful rebellion, that whole mentality, like the Ben Lowrys, the Robert Menards. They're talking about creditors in commerce. They're talking about contract. And I believe contract is exactly what Jacques Fresco talks about at arriving to a conclusion, arriving to a decision, is that if there's an individual out there that owns 100 acres of land, and I'm a person that believes in the zeitgeist movement or the Venus Project, and I want to have a house, the way that a lot of the people that I see in the Venus Project or the zeitgeist movement are saying, well, I'll just go up and I'll build my house there because it doesn't matter what he says. No, he owns that land. He has become, from this system that we have now, he has been granted ownership of that land. You can't go in and take that land from him because that land is not yours to take. It's his. Even though in this system, in this system right now, there's no ownership because the government itself can go in and take that land. But I don't want to take anything away from anybody. This is my opinion. I don't want to take anything away from anybody. Let's say I know an individual that has 100 acres of land. And this is my dream. This is what I would like to do. I would like to own myself a nice 10 acres of land that is close to a lake, that I can go skating on in the winter and swimming in the summer, that I can have a couple of animals on there and chickens and grow my fruits and vegetables and have like one of those, do permaculture on the 10 acres and have the idea of the earthship where everything's self-sustainable, where your sewage is used for your food, to grow the plants for your food, and you get the energy from the land. Your house is cooled and heated from being part of the ground. I would use that 10 acres to live off of, to be part of. Say there's a guy with 100 acres of land, and he's saying, you know what? I have 100 acres of land. I'm not giving up. But I know that in his land, I would like to have that land. Oh, how would I get that land off of him? Well, I'd probably go up and talk to him. If I'm just saying, using one individual. There's probably thousands of places where I could go, but this one individual has a particular spot where I would like to go. And I go up to him and I speak to him and I say, you know, we contract with each other. We arrive at a decision. I say to him, oh, I'd like 10 acres of your land. No. Well, this is what I would like to do. I'd love to be a steward. You can have full ownership of the land. I will just be a steward of this section of the land for the 10 acres. I will be part of your 100 acres if you need any help whatsoever to do anything. We would arrive at a contract. I give him an offer and he would refuse that offer. I give him another offer, he would refuse that offer. Maybe he wouldn't refuse that offer. He would put conditions on that offer. I'd look at it and say, well, we've been not taught how to do this. Like, I haven't been taught how to do this. I've just been starting to learn this. He would offer to me, and I would accept that offer. I conditionally accept that offer, and he would conditionally accept it until we arrive at a decision to say, this is the land. I will give you that 10 acres if you do this. And I will say, I will take that 10 acres with those stipulations involved. and we'd write up a contract. I'd do my notice of understanding, and he would do his notice of understanding, and we'd write up the contract, we'd do our affidavits, we'd do all that. We wouldn't even need money. We come to a conclusion where, we have this exchange. And I would get my 10 acres, and I would start to live off that 10 acres, and I would build on that 10 acres, and I'd become a steward to make sure that the land is healthy, that I'm not garbaging it, and he would hopefully agree on my stuff. If he doesn't agree, I can go somewhere else and look for another person that owns land. Or I could go up to Algonquin Park and park myself in there. But how would somebody know about me parking myself into that land, into Algonquin Park, and becoming part of that land? I would probably go. This is another thing that I have a problem with, is that people want to be anarchists, and a lot of people in the mainstream and that I talk to equate anarchism with chaos. And I don't equate anarchism with chaos. I equate anarchism with anarchism. But I have this cognitive dissonance where you would still need this administrative talk to it. I put in another video where Alan Moore was saying anarchism with administration. And I agree with that. Say I want to go to Algonquin. We have the corporation that's called Canada here, the Corporation of Canada. They would be a great administrative body. They're either elected or appointed individuals, and if there was no money involved whatsoever, it was just contract-based, and there was no money involved, I could go in there, I could write my affidavit, I could write my notice of understanding, my claim of right, I could give them an offer to say, I want to live on 10 acres of land in Algonquin. And they would say, no, we don't want people to do that because it's going to destroy the infrastructure there, it's going to destroy the wetlands and blah, blah, blah. And I would say, well, what can I do to live in this part of the land? I will take 10 acres or an acre, and I will groom it, and I will make sure that it is as close to nature as possible. I would write up my notice of understanding and what they want. I give them an offer on that. They give me an offer back. I think that is how we would get land. We wouldn't take it from anybody. We come to an understanding. And this is just in my life. Maybe 100 years from now, people won't do that. They would still offer an acceptance offer. And I think that's where we have to get rid of money. If we can get rid of money, we can use the idea of contract with each other to contract in. Because right now, money is, it's a Ponzi scheme the way they have money. You go work for somebody else, they take. You actually create the goods, and they get the benefits of it. They throw you a few scraps for it. Like I used to work for an animation place called Nelvana, and me and say 30 other people would get scraps for making shows, and we do say, well, each month we turn out a show, so 12 shows a year. And out of those 12 shows a year, it costs, say, $250,000 to do those shows. And out of those shows, over the next umpteen years, they would get millions of dollars off of it, but they would throw us scraps. We get good pay, but initially they'd throw us, the creators of it, would get scraps for it. But the investors and the stockholders would get a lot more money. That's in this system now. This system now, to me, seems really fucked up. Somebody that doesn't actually create gets the benefit of it, and the person that creates it gets no benefit except for scraps. But one of my biggest problems was, how do we get land? And he hit the nail on the head, was that it would cause violence. The Venus Project, with the mentality, with a lot of the individuals in the Venus Project, not the Venus Project, the Zeitgeist movement, because I believe the Venus Project is something different than the Zeitgeist. I think a lot of people that are in there still need education to get there. I think even Peter Joseph, somebody brought up the whole idea of lawful rebellion and the freemen on the land, and the straw man concept, and he basically trashed it. I don't think he has an understanding of that, and I really wish he'd look into that. The law of contract, creditors and commerce, is great for information on that, and I think that's the way we need to push it. I don't think we need. I believe we need government to be administration, and that administration could turn into a computer that actually just holds and transfers information from one individual to another. It doesn't make the decisions. We as human beings would arrive at those decisions with the information that the computer gives us. I don't know why people are so paranoid of it. Maybe it's because it is such a fine line between tyranny and freedom that we're so caught up into this whole tyranny, this whole control system that we can't trust anybody. We can't trust groups of people. Jacques Fresco's almost dead anyway, so it's like, what is he going to benefit if we bring into the Venus Project? He doesn't even want a statue made of himself, so I don't know. I really don't know. Self-determination is the way to go. Anyways, that's my video.